Danny, this is the second episode of our new series called East Bank Weekly. And the first thing we wanted to talk about was, the stagnation. A lot of fans are asking about possibly a bit of stagnation, feeling the same as last year. I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, from a perspective of the football club, it's easy to get caught up with the fact that things don't seem to be moving in the direction that the fans want it to, because obviously fans want their football team to be winning football matches on a regular basis, and that's obviously something that we're working hard to do every day. From a club perspective, I think a lot more will come out on our fans forum evening. We're going to put a different dynamic to it. We had a meeting yesterday myself, Mark Butler and the chairman, about creating a different kind of feel to the fans forum, rather than it just to be about the on-field stuff. Actually talking about what our vision and plan is for the club over the next 5 years. So we're kind of going to, and it's not deflecting it to the fans forum, but it's kind of saying, look, there's an opportunity for you to turn up and have your opinion, have your say, ask the questions that you want to ask, and then we've got a better platform to answer those, and the right people to answer the right questions as well, because obviously I've been privy to quite a few things that are going on. I don't know everything and I don't know the details behind it. So but as a club, we're working hard off the field to try and make sure that we have got something in place so that the fans can see what we're actually trying to do, and as I said last week, keep it a we type mentality. So, and we've got the foresight as well that if the turnout looks like it's going to be quite big, then we're going to change the venue. We want as many of the fans there that we possibly can get, and if it ends up being 400 or 500 people, let's get them there. We'll find a venue that's big enough, and we'll make sure that everyone can have an insight into what we're doing to make it's what they're doing as well.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? We want to make sure we're all working towards the same goal. Us as staff members and the fans as well, we're all working together towards the same goal that we want.
Well, the key word is the one you just used, is we, and it has to be. And it's not, we're not a Man City or a Man United or a Liverpool where you've got an unbelievable revenue coming in all the time through commercial rights, and regardless of how the team are playing on the field, these teams post record revenues every year. It doesn't work like that. We know that we've got to work together to try and give the best platform we can, so that we can then put the best squad that we possibly can together that's playing on the pitch on a regular basis, and that's not easy. We've got a board that runs the club, as opposed to a major benefactor who just throws loads of money at it. So it's that changes the dynamics. We run the club on what the budget is. There is a budget. That's what we make as a football club, and that's what we can spend. And you look at quite a lot of teams in this league. If the benefactor walked away, would they still be able to survive and maintain and pay their bills? And I think, well, I know the answer to that question would be no. They probably wouldn't be able to do that.
And you mentioned the playing squad we have on the field as well. A lot of fans will be asking about, particularly after Saturday's result, set pieces, how we work towards them. I just wanted to get your thoughts on those.
They're not the only ones asking about set pieces. I think we conceded a few at the start of the season, and then we actually went on quite a good run where we hadn't conceded any set pieces. We'd been defending them quite well, and it was almost like they'd saved up unbelievably poor defending for Saturday, because I think if anyone looking at the draw for the fourth round qualifier, I think even some of our own fans commented, well, we didn't even want a cup run anyway, and well, at least I haven't got to worry about paying for FA Cup tickets going forwards and whatnot, which doesn't help, because obviously we still wanted to go and compete. But looking at Bromley were good, so they're second in the league. They're the hardest possible opposition we could have drawn, because obviously it's regionalised, so it was going to be tough. The disappointing thing was I didn't think they were that good on Saturday, and I think even the manager himself come out and he said he thought they weren't great on Saturday. So the manner in which we conceded the goals from the set pieces was just, and I said it to the boys, and I've said it on the media before, it was just disgraceful, our defending. And we had an hour in the analysis room looking at them over and over again, making sure they understand that that's not acceptable, and they have to take accountability for that. And we did. We named names. You didn't do that well enough, and the boys have got to take that on the chin. They've got nowhere to go with it because it was that bad, and it's disappointing, because to go and score 3 goals away at Bromley is hard enough in it itself, but then to not get anything out of the game after doing that, we can only apologise, because it wasn't good enough, and I think from my perspective going forwards, it's something that we have to look at. And that ruthlessness in the penalty area, we talk about being more ruthless at the other end, and it's not a joking matter, I know, but I half joke with the staff, it's like tag team. We decide to get it all right at one end, and then the other lot decide they're not going to do it properly, and it's it's those inconsistencies that are killing us at the minute. But we are working hard on that, and we slightly changed the dynamic of training this week, and there's a different emphasis, and we'll go into Saturday with a completely different outlook, because that's not acceptable.
So I don't think that's anything that anyone can argue that we don't do. Is, we don't not work hard. We do work hard to make sure we get those things right each week, and when something doesn't go right in the week, we ensure that we're ready for the next time it comes around, that mistake doesn't happen again as well.
It's a frustrating environment to be in, football, because you can work as hard as you want with the players during the week. You can give them as much information as you want during the week. You can look at the opposition as many times as you want. You can watch hours and hours of footage of us and them, and you can plan as much as you like. The bottom line is, once you let them across that white line, they've got to take the understanding and ownership of what we've done during the week and implement it into a game situation. And I think where the players self-admittedly not only let themselves down, but let the staff, the club and the fans down on Saturdays, they didn't implement the instructions that they were given. And I'm not even going to make any secret of it. I said to the boys in the dressing room at half time, if I could have made 11 subs, I would have. That's how disappointed I was in them, and I don't think there was many that could hold their heads up high. And we had a similar comment again, and you've taken off attacking player and put on a defensive midfielder. Well, it worked on Saturday in the second half, because we were the better side the second half. If it wasn't for, again, another individual error in the middle of the park, and a lefty knows that he shouldn't have took as many touches as he did, and Cody knows that he should have cleared the ball better than he did. They know that, but without that, they didn't really cause us too many problems. They had the one-on-one where Max slips, but I don't think Mitch makes a save other than that, and we camped out, and we didn't take maybe enough of the initiative that we had to get ourselves back in the game. But if you keep shooting yourself in the foot like we did on Saturday, it just makes it harder and harder.
You mentioned the direction of the club at the start of this series. You said about having a vision, 5-year vision. A lot of fans will probably be asking questions about that. Is there anything you can tell fans?
Yeah, look, all I can say to them is there is a plan. We have got a plan. We have to be realistic about where we are as a club. And you see the tweets and the Facebook comments. And I'm not on Facebook, and I don't read the forum, to be fair. A lot of the comments are that we should be challenging for the title, we should be doing this and we should be doing that. And this is going to sound a bit harsh, but based on what? Because financially, we're nowhere near one of the biggest clubs in this league, in the sense of what resources they've got behind them, and we're trying to balance off clearing debt, making sure this club's sustainable for a long period of time, and still trying to put as competitive as a team we can out on the pitch. And I still maintain it, and I genuinely believe and confident that this team won't have any problems this season. This team will be fine. I'm not saying they're going to go and get in the playoffs or whatnot, but this team's more than capable of holding their own in this league. So I think from a answering questions perspective around about the vision and the direction the club's going in, I think the fans need to turn up in their numbers to the fans forum, so that we can present to them properly. So it's not ad hoc conversations here and there. We can present properly on, this is where we're going to go and we want you on board. And this is going to sound a bit harsh. If you're not on board, that doesn't change our mentality. We know where we're going, we know what we want to achieve, we know what our short-term goals are, we know what our medium-term goals are, and we know what our long-term goals are, and that's the way it's going to be.
And that's the thing, because on these sort of forums, fans are more than rightly able to give their opinions on team selections and things like that. A couple of questions have been raised about why some players aren't playing in certain games, sort of why players are playing and things like that. I just wondered if you could give fans a bit of reason behind it.
Yeah, I mean, look, one thing I would say, we don't sit in the office on a Friday afternoon and go, come on, let's see what team we can pick to see if we can lose today. That we pick based on training, based on who's fully fit. So the likes of Dean Rance and Alex Finney, and someone made a comment the other day about, why don't you just start Rancey? Well, we've had to ease Rancey back in. He's had a long-term injury, and you can't just throw him back in, otherwise we end up with another injury. And you've got to, as much as you want to put players who've got the experience of Dean Rance straight back in the team, you can't do that. Alex Finney, you can't just throw him back in, because if you could do that, then you'd never have any real squad problems, would you? Because as soon as someone half looks fit, you just put them straight back in the team again. It doesn't work like that. So I kind of get that, but it's competition for places, and people have, I think some of the players that have been playing regularly have earned the right to have that chance to play regularly, and unfortunately from Saturday, some players have probably lost the right to be in the team. As I said, at half time, I think most of them lost the right to be in the team at half time. But we have to move on, and we have to do what we believe is right. And is it always going to be perfect? through everyone's opinion? No, because football is a very subjective sport, and everyone's got an opinion, and that's what makes it great. However, they're not there every day. They don't see what's going on in the medical room. They don't see what's going on in the training field. They don't see and hear the conversations that we're having with the players to make sure everyone's in the right frame of mind at the right time. So as much as I appreciate what they say, and I try and take as much of it on board, it's hard to give it too much thought and worry when obviously, unfortunately, they're not in the knowledge that we are. And if we could give them that information every day, we probably would, but it's not. I'm not sure that's conducive to keeping an environment where we want to plan and prepare for a fixture.
Because another player that's been mentioned is James Rowe. He's someone who we could see as staff members. He's been working hard every week to get back fitness back ready for the games on Saturday. Is there anything we could mention on?
Yeah, Rowe is not far away. Rowe is not far away. I feel for him because he started the season so well. He was outstanding against Fylde and he was outstanding against Woking. And he's been a loss to us because he's got experience and he's a tremendous footballer. He's things he can do with the ball a lot of the other lads can't do. But again, he's someone we've had to manage properly because it was a really unique injury. Not as unique as treading on a Ribena bottle, but it was unique in the sense of the type of damage to the bone that it was couldn't be plastered to guarantee it to heal in a certain amount of time. It needed to be managed and needed to be done in a way that, we're not threatening or potentially giving him what would be a stress fracture of his foot. So that's taken time, and Russ, I know Russ has gone now, but Russ has worked fantastically well with him to make sure he's at the stage he's now, which he's out on the grass and he's training, so it won't be long.
And a lot of people have sort of mentioned, your characteristics, sort of your ability in front of the camera as well, mentioning sort of comments as a second-hand car salesman. That's it. I just wanted to get your thoughts and sort of...
Yeah, I'd probably earn more money out of that. But yeah, no, I am who I am. I'm passionate about what I believe, and I think that having the ability to sit in front of a camera and talk about it, if that makes me a second-hand car salesman, then maybe that's what I am. But no, I genuinely believe in what the club are trying to do, and I believe in what we're doing. And I know that short term it doesn't look like much to write home about, but if it was as easy as putting 17, 18, 19 players who don't know each other together, throwing them on a pitch and just getting results, then I'm pretty sure most people would probably go and do it. It takes time, and sometimes these plans take longer, and sometimes it just clicks and it all happens all together. And I think pre-season we started to see some clicking, and then we got hit by 7 or 8 injuries, and that's part of the game. And it's not an excuse, because every club goes through a phase where they've got a lot of injuries. But the bottom line from my perspective is, whether the fans think I'm a second-hand car salesman or I'm good at what I do or bad at what I do, whatever, my vision and goal for what I want to do with this squad doesn't change, and I'm not going to be swayed by the fact that people are critical of me, because at the end of the day they're entitled to be. It's about freedom, and it sounds like I'm doing some kind of political broadcast, isn't it? But freedom of speech and whatever. But at the end of the day, they're allowed to say what they want to say, and all I can guarantee them is it's said with what I say is with passion and belief, and that we know as a staff and as a group of players that this squad's got a lot more to come. It's got a lot more development to do as well, and I'm sure there's going to be some equally bad days in the months to come, because that's what happens when you've got a new group of players together. But yeah, fans are entitled to their opinion. They pay their money, they're entitled to say what they say. The only thing I would question is what the motives are at times behind what people are saying. Are you doing it because it's what's best for the club, or are you doing it because it's what's best for you? And to kind of set the challenge to the supporters, because the majority of them I think have been outstanding. My challenge to the supporters is everything I do every day is for what's best for this football club, and if they can look themselves in the mirror and say the same, then hopefully we're on the same page and heading in the right direction.
And a final thing that has raised a few fans' questions over the last few weeks is staff, sort of updates on staff members and things like that. Would you provide us with anything?
Yeah, well, as I said last week, we gave an explanation behind the 4 staff members who kind of were on their way out, if you want to say. They've left the club for various reasons and roles. We've had a really constructive meeting with Ian today. Ian was never he was almost 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And what we needed to do with Ian is give him the respect, to give him the time he needs to think about how he wants it to work, and also come to an agreement on this is what's best for the role and the players. Because the bottom line is we have to make sure the players are right. That's what a kit man's job is to make sure the players get what they need, within reason, obviously. But no, it's really constructive conversation with him today. So hopefully going forwards we can welcome him back into the club in the foreseeable future.